Now we got to move on to something, and I want to ask a question here because there was a video posted recently talking about hot toys and whether they're good or not, and statues and whether they're good or not. So it was really interesting. I really liked watching it, but it kind of had me thinking: do 1/6 figures lack presence? And the way I kind of want to approach this question is: if you didn't have a lot of 1/6 figures to display with, say you maybe had three, four, if you have a small collection, do they lack the presence necessary to really make you feel excited or to even, God forbid, impress other people who are coming in your house to see your collection? And I want to share something. And this would be an example of kind of what I'm talking about. When you do have a larger collection, that it can have a lot of presence to it. And these figures do have that. But if you had a smaller collection, do they lack that because of their size? Like, what was Yoda's quote like about judging by size, something like
Judge
that?
me by my size, do you?
Yeah. See, there you go. There you go, Kiko. So I know my Star Wars fan card's going to get revoked, but it's fine. At
It
least I
got
knew the
revoked on the
general.
Death Star
I knew
walls.
the general idea of the quote, so it's fine, bro. But yeah, Kiko, I want to start with you. Do 1/6 figures lack the presence necessary to be good in their own right? Do they need those companion pieces? What do you think?
Companion pieces do a lot for certain figures, but it's also going to come down to which figure you're talking about, I suppose. If you talk about a Thanos, yeah, it's got the presence. If you talk about, Chrome Mandalorian, yes, it's got the presence. If you're talking about Remnant Trooper, no, not really. Are you talking about Lando? No, probably not. I'm just looking at the people just like right in front of me that I'm looking at here. It definitely comes down to who the character is. Darth Vader will command a shelf presence because its silhouette is so iconic. And the character silhouette, I think, means a lot. And I know we're going to talk about it a little bit later on, but if it's posed weird, it's not going to take any, presence at all. It's going to actually distract and be like, what is this thing in your display? But it definitely is going to come down to who the character is and if it's big enough. I think the bigger characters naturally have a great shelf presence, but then some of them don't. Like, I love some of the troopers, but if you just have too many of them or just one sitting there, I don't think it really does that much. I mean, if you're looking right in the middle of that screen, there's that Coruscant guard. If he was sitting there by himself, or just even like the 501st Trooper, yeah, they're cool figures, but they don't have a presence. You need something with like a weapon or a lightsaber, something that brings the presence. So it definitely character specific, but I don't think they lack presence. But Cole Obsidian's going to be a lot cooler than Gamora, but that's my opinion.
Right. That makes sense. Well, Ben, I have the same question for you, and I'm looking up right now because a stink bug has landed directly on my light over there. I don't know if you guys have
I kept
those in your
wondering,
stink.
like, what in the world you kept looking at.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. It landed on my light and it's right above my head, and I could look it's just looking at me. So I'm gonna kill that thing. But basically, before I do that, I'm gonna have Ben answer this question. So Ben, when I disappear, don't panic. I'm just gonna mute myself and turn off my camera.
Make sure you mute yourself, because if it lands on you and you scream, like, we
I
don't
know,
want that
then
live.
everyone's gonna know.
Right.
I know everyone's gonna know that I'm the biggest bitch in streaming, so it's totally fine. But Ben, same question: do 1/6 figures lack presence, or do they have what's necessary if you have a smaller collection to kind of make an impact? What do you think?
It's a hard question to answer, because I think it depends, like, if it lacks presence to you or to like the people around you. So like Shauna, my fiance, she supports me in figure collecting, but she will walk right past my whole display and not even look at it. Like, to her, it doesn't matter how cool the figure is, what it comes with, how it's silhouette. It does not matter. She just doesn't matter to her. To her, it lacks presence. I could have no figures or all the figures, and it wouldn't make a difference. For me, who's a figure collector but also a huge like nostalgia buff, everything that I try and put in my collection means something to me. Even a singular stormtrooper, Kiko, I'll argue, I only have one white trooper from the Return of the Jedi, and I've got him posed up with his gun, and every time I walk past my collection, despite some of the other really great figures I have, that one still catches my eye, because for me, when I think Star Wars, I think about the stormtroopers, and I think about Darth Vader, and I think about Luke Skywalker, farm boy Luke holding his lightsaber and stuff. So I don't think that they lack presence. I think it just depends on who's looking at your collection with you. I will say that I don't think lack presence is the right way to say it, but I think if you have a statue, like a room full of statues, somebody who doesn't necessarily collect or care might still be like, wow, like, statues, not necessarily that the size matters, but like there are some pretty impressive statues that will grab your attention whether or not you like the presence or not. Whereas you might walk past a 1/6 scale Dark Knight and not care.
There's something to be said about the statues, and we've talked
Yeah.
about that multiple times. My buddy Anthony was over here just this week, and he's like, "Hey, you got anything new upstairs?" Like, "Yeah, come on up here." And he immediately just walked over here. I was like, "Hey, do you want to see this?" He's like, "Oh, I just want to see your statues again," because they do command the presence, and I don't think there's any debate about that.
For sure.
Yeah.
But you also have to have it planned. You also have to have a way to display it that can highlight it, right? I mean, if you put a statue necessarily in a corner that nobody can see, people might still walk past it. So I think it has to have presence for you in your collection. If you walk past and don't ever look at that figure, you should sell it and move it on to something that will capitalize that space in your collection that you like even more. And that's what I've been doing recently. I've been moving figures along for figures that I want more, and I'm enjoying my collection even more. Now I'm looking at spaces in my different cubes out here and in the other room that I was ignoring before because I just didn't. Those figures to me were lacking the presence at that point. I just bought them because I thought they were cool at some point. So, and then of course scale. I know like you're going to ask a little about scale. Now this is an older collection tour, so anybody watching, my collection has upgraded quite a bit since then. I got to do a new collection tour clearly, but I've got different scales in my collection, and I try and combine them a little bit. You can't. Like that Mondo Toys now is making like the Batman and the Joker and some of those Batman the Animated Series figures, which I absolutely love. And I fit them in with my 6-scale collection because to me they have presence despite their size. They stand out. It's nostalgic all over it. So
yeah,
that's a great Deadpool pose.
It is. It is a great
especially
Deadpool.
with the different eyes that you have on there. I love that. That's perfect.
Yeah,
well done.
That's dope, guys. I'm not sure if I got the bug. So I, you know what I tried to do? I do this sometimes when I don't have to, because it's on like a little softbox. So if I try to hit it, it's just going to crash the whole thing. So I took the vacuum and tried to suck it up, but it didn't work. So
oh my god,
he got away.
You should have kept the camera on. That might have actually been an
actually would have been
entertaining
been a good clip. Yeah, I should have kept that on. But you wouldn't have been able to focus at all, Ben. You would have been like watching me the whole time.
Man,
so
I ran out and
got
I can talk no matter the vacuum. Don't worry about it.
I ran out and got the vacuum, tried to suck it up, and the thing just started running away. So I don't know where it went. It's still around somewhere. But I'm sure what you said, Ben, was very profound and insightful as always.
I hope so.
Yeah, it was great. So, but this looks great, bro. And 1/6 figures. No, I don't feel they lack presence. I just feel like it, you got to have some. If you have like maybe 5 to 10 at minimum, I think that really helps out a lot. Like one figure by itself, unless you have it next to like a life-size prop or something else, it can be harder in isolation to feel that presence. But when you have a bunch of them, they have a lot of presence together. You don't even need like, I know Kiko has like 300. You don't even need that many per se. You just need, at least a little bit, like 5 to 10 or more. And then I think you'll have a lot of
Someone mentioned in the comments about how much lighting does. I mean, you just look at Ben's stuff right there. I mean, just the lighting and the silhouette does so much for it because yes, if you look at any of those, 100%, that's presence right there because the silhouette really says it. And if the lighting, the display, the posing, if you are intentional about how you display them, don't just set it on your computer desk and walk away, in the museum pose, then yeah, I definitely think they can be presence striking things.
Yeah, I think so too. Well, let us know in the chat, guys. I keep forgetting to post the polls, but I'm going to post another poll in the next one, I promise. And yeah, thank you so much for your thoughts on that one. And hopefully this bug doesn't kill me in the meantime.